Oigan, el otro día vi a Evan Marc Katz, que es uno de nuestros especialistas, que es experto en coachear a mujeres inteligentes, independientes, capaces, autosuficientes, en encontrar el amor, que puso en su Instagram una nota que decía, no es lo mismo hacer un casting para encontrar tu novio o tu novia, hacer un casting para encontrar a tu esposo o a tu esposa. Y dije, no, Evan tiene que venir a hablar de esto. Welcome back, my friend. How are you?
Martha, I've missed you.
I missed you too. How are you, my
Ha-
dear? How's
Have you
LA?
been having I've had an excellent summer so far.
Well, that's fantastic. Is it not too hot in LA?
It is too hot in LA. It
So,
is it's 100 degrees here, and yet
oh my God.
um it's I don't know. I'm in great spirits. I'm just glad to be back with you because it's been a while, and I think you chose a really great topic to talk about today.
Well, I was telling the audience that I saw your post on Instagram where you were talking about the difference between looking for a boyfriend and looking for a husband, and the fact that it's like two totally different stories. So I said he has to come on the show and talk about this because I've always said that casting is absolutely everything.
And most of what happens with casting happens in the prep. What decisions you make in the first month of dating will determine where you are in 5 years. Right. And
So,
that's the hard part. So there's two ways to look at it. There's searching for a boyfriend's different than searching for a husband because we've got different goals. And choosing a boyfriend, choosing to commit to someone temporarily is different than choosing to commit to someone for the rest of your life. And it needs to be dealt with differently as well. So I'm glad to begin wherever you want to begin.
so shoot, my friend. So how do you choose which?
Um, I like to use metaphors. They don't always work, especially when they're visual. But when I'm signing up clients, I always ask them to envision what they want for their future. What's your dream, right? If you could have it all, what does it look like? I've never had a woman in 20 years of coaching say, he texts me twice a week. We have sex on Friday night, and then I don't hear from him. That has never been
Yeah.
anybody's dream. Yet, how many people have that as some form of relationship? Right? Wherever you aim is where you're going to end up. And if you settle and think this is the best I can do, he's cute, he's successful, and I wait for him to call, you're not really living your best life. So my job is always to get people to aim higher than they think they even can get.
Love what you just said. And I love that metaphor. Lay down. Next one.
I think that people think dating is different than everything else in the world, right? It occupies this different space that's because love is intangible, it feels mystical and confusing and like there's a plan. I'm going to pray to God for my husband instead of I'm going to go out and find a husband, the same way you go out and find a job. So what I've tried to do over 20 years in my Love You course is to take something that seems very, very confusing and just create a step-by-step plan so you can get what you want. Because you don't get a husband if you don't get a boyfriend first. And you shouldn't make someone into your husband in your mind if he hasn't proven himself to be a good boyfriend. So step number one is deciding, what do I want to achieve? If I want to be a lawyer, I have to go to law school. I can't just run a law firm. I have to take my LSATs and I have to study for the test. What's the plan? If you want to have the whole thing, envision what your life looks like when you get it. And I know you have this extraordinary talent for being able to translate. Everybody that I talked to, I told you what they didn't want, which is to see the guy once a week and get random texts. Everybody also wants the same thing when you get right down to it.
So you do not pick the same way a temporary, probably boyfriend, to a longtime husband. So, what are the things that we're looking into?
I think the problem is most people are so afraid of getting hurt or making a mistake that they think they can choose a husband from a dating site. We just don't have enough information yet. So when you're dating, right, first few weeks, you're looking for three things.
Okay,
Comfort.
let me write that down.
Okay.
Okay, you're looking for
Put this
three
on the big
things.
board.
Okay.
Comfort. Can I be myself? Can I relax? Can I let down my guard? Fun, because if you don't have fun, there's no point in going out with someone. And attraction. And most people think dating is just about attraction.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're attracted to someone and you can't really relax around them, that's not a good sign. So first few weeks of dating before they become boyfriend material, comfort, fun, attraction.
So those are the three first things in the beginning. And
then if you've been dating for 4 to 6 weeks, so these are made up numbers, but 4 to 6 weeks is when you decide, do I think I can invest in this person? And is this person on the same track to want the same kind of life that I do? And that's the important part, is sometimes women choose men in the first 4 to 6 weeks of dating, and there is comfort and there is fun and there is attraction. But what's the problem? He's recently divorced. He's separated. He doesn't know if he ever wants to get married again. He's going through a midlife crisis. He's currently unemployed, right? There's all these, he's long distance. There's these major issues that people sweep under the rug where we can't actually get to our destination because he's not headed there anytime soon. So not only do you need to have these feelings of comfort, fun, and attraction, you need to know before you choose a boyfriend, are you on the same train for the next 30 years? Not will you be together, but do you want the same things?
third.
I don't know that it's in order of numbers, but now you have a boyfriend, right, where you don't sleep with him until he's your boyfriend. We got to put the order right. The order of all this really matters. So you're choosing a guy whose company you enjoy, who's looking for the same things, who wants to build the same kind of life, who's emotionally available. We've established all that in the first 6 weeks. And now we take down our online dating profiles and we say, hey, let's give this thing a shot. Now we have a new baseline. Any guy could be good to you for 4 to 6 weeks. It doesn't take that much. Now, because you've been with me for a long time, Martha, who's the CEO? Women are the CEOs, men are the interns. So if you bring on the intern and you discover after 3 months, the intern's not really performing despite his potential at the beginning, you have to let go of the intern. You can't keep him on because you made a decision in the first 4 to 6 weeks that you love him.
Oh my God. I think that is when we ruin absolutely everything. And a 3-month-long internship turns into a 5-year nightmare.
Correct.
On trying to make the intern become your COO, which is probably not going to happen. I think that is when women get all confused. So
yeah,
let me say this in
They're
Spanish.
banking on the potential and the feelings of those first few weeks,
Claro.
right? As if that's the whole story, which is why choosing a boyfriend is different than choosing a husband.
So going back to what you just said, because it's very interesting. The other day I was reading a poem on the air, and it's called For a Reason, for a Season, for a Lifetime. And what I was telling the audience is it is so important to understand where that person in your life fits. Some people come for a reason, and then they go away. Some people come from a season, and then they go away. And then there's people, very few of them, that come to your life for a lifetime. And the big mistake that many women and men make in their, love lives is that they want to make the reason person into a season person or into a lifetime person or vice versa. So if you see that the intern doesn't have any more, in Spanish we say wood, any more wood from where you can carve out a long-term relationship, even if you're in love with him, even if you made the decision to give it a try, as you well said, you have to let go.
Love doesn't redeem a relationship. Love is a baseline from which to grow a relationship. but love does not keep people together, right? Or if it does, it's for the wrong reason. You don't stay with someone simply because love, because every couple that's ever been divorced loved each other at one point.
Yeah. So sometimes what we used to say is, oh my God, maybe, yes, he has many areas of opportunity. Maybe if I polish him, maybe if I give it a try, maybe if I try harder, maybe this will work out, because I don't want to let go because I'm so in love with him. But guess what? The love that you feel today is not enough to take you into the next 10, 15, or 20 years of your life.
Right. Generally, people make a decision that's emotional.
Yeah.
Right. We'll blurt out, I love you to someone we barely know. And you might mean it at the time. In that moment, I love you, whether you said it or he said it, is real. But I love you is not a promise that I can love you in the way that you deserve to be loved, or that I'm emotionally ready to give you everything, or that I'm even the person who's capable of that. Maybe I want to be a better man. Maybe I want to be emotionally available, but I'm screwed up from my childhood and my ex-wife burned me and I'm really busy with my work. There's a lot of decent people who don't make for great partners. And we anchor on the good. And that's why I love you principle is believe the negative, ignore the positive.
So let's open this conundrum. So on one side, you have the option where I realize the intern is not enough for the next stage, and then I let go. What happens after that? Or option B, which is I'm sort of realizing that the intern is not good enough, but I don't want to accept it. I want to keep on trying. I want to keep on polishing him. I want to keep on, how can I say this? I want to keep on trying to mold myself and mutilate myself to adequate my needs to what he can give, and then I stay in a relationship.
Right, because people are more afraid of starting over than to stay with something that's making them unhappy.
Yeah.
So I always ask people to gauge their own happiness. Here's the question that I would ask. I'll ask a couple questions to your audience. If you're seeing someone right now and we were to just say, we're going to bronze this moment. This is it. What you have right now, this is it for the rest of your life. It's not changing. Are you happy? Would you want to do this for the next 30 years? If the answer is no, why are you still there? All right, that's the first question. If what you have isn't making you happy, why are you fighting so hard to keep it? And usually that's going to answer all of your questions. It's just going to give you an answer you don't want. You're going to come to terms with the fact that you're not happy and you haven't been happy for a long period of time. So then it's just a matter of courage to recognize you got one life to live. Why would you spend 20 years with someone who hasn't been really good to you since the 2-year mark? Right? Inertia, right? Just because I'm on this path, just because the kids, just because he's a nice guy. So in general, we don't want to bank on men's potential. We want to look at reality the same way we would look at an employee. Right? The reality is, despite how much I love him, despite the fact that I see the good in him, it doesn't matter. None of it matters except how you feel in a relationship. So if anything, I just tell women to listen to their own feelings instead of ignoring them.
What is the final conclusion? So you're in the relationship. This is working out. How do you know if this man is husband material?
Well, it's a feeling. Right? People think husband material is he's taller than I am, he's richer than I am, he's smarter than I am, he's funnier than I am. Most women I work with want to date the male version of themselves, but better and without their own flaws. Right? And that's normal. We laugh at it, but it's pretty normal. But you've also dated that guy. If we were just talking about you and me, timing has so much to do with a relationship. I wouldn't have chosen my wife if I met her 2 years before. Right? The timing, I was ready for her. She was ready for me when we met. And if the timing's wrong, it doesn't matter if you're attracted, if you have a lot in common. None of it matters. So if you're on the same trajectory and you've been dating for 2 years and things are getting better, most relationships start high and then they drop. If things are getting better over time, right, and you feel, and here's the key, the feeling, safe, heard, and understood, If you have a partner who makes you feel safe, heard, and understood, right, and you've already started with the baseline of comfort, fun, and attraction, you might have something that's worth keeping. And how will you know? It feels easy. It's not work. And here's the last question I want to pose. I had one that I mentioned earlier. Would you want to keep this feeling for the rest of your life? Right? Has anybody who's listening to this had, or this is probably the wrong way of phrasing it, not anybody. Think of just about every relationship you've ever had to work at. Is that a good relationship? My relationship requires effort. It doesn't require work.
I love it. Evan, it is a pleasure talking to you, my friend. A big kiss all the way to hot, summery LA.
Thank you as always for having me. It's such a pleasure, and I look forward to our next engagement.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.